meeting is being audio and videotaped. If everybody could silence their phones, I appreciate that.
Oh, no, I can't. I'm expecting a phone call.
Okay, open the window and throw it out when it comes.
Well, it's very important. I spent a lot of money today. But I'll just quiet.
We'll just move it along. Okay, first item on the agenda for correspondence, letter from the community, nurse and home care statistics for July and August 2024. Review of matters, votes may be taken.
Okay. Make a motion to place on file.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries. Next we have MDPE alphavirus surveillance program report. What's this about, Joe?
This has everything to do with our mosquito friends and the uptick in West Nile virus in humans and the uptick in triple E and
Thank you.
equestrian and mammals. We've raised, the state raised our risk to high risk for potential of humans contacting West Nile virus. In turn, I know the board worked to modify some of the hours of the outdoor activities, the fall ball, and also the activities associated with the school, which was basically soccer, to move that ahead.
Do we have any problems with them?
Not at all. Not at all. They've done the right thing. At this point, it's we're being in high risk. We've moved it to all activity must finish 15 minutes before dusk, which is basically around, at this point, it's around 6 o'clock for the sake of talking. Yeah, no, there was no issues whatsoever, but it suggested baseball, both fall ball and soccer. Yeah.
Do you get information every day on that day on your phone?
No.
Oh, I get that every day. I guess punch in number 1 for that I received it.
Yeah, you're on it as one of the backups to me, so I get it and then you back it up. Yeah, in the event, so that in the event that there is some sort of significant
Last
issue.
week and the week before, I was getting 2 a day.
Oh yeah, they were
Quite a
cranking
bit.
up. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely mosquito season. There's no doubt about it. We haven't had it this bad in a while. We did have quite a wet year. It was
5,
hot.
6 years ago, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows like that.
Yeah.
It does. So more than likely next year, I would expect it to be a little bit worse if we don't really have a hard, cold winter, which kills off both mosquitoes and ticks. That's the other big issue is ticks. Ticks probably a little bit worse than the mosquitoes. You really have to pay attention to checking yourself and making sure that you cover up.
Well, you don't want to get this.
You don't want to get this either, but you don't want to get sick from ticks either.
No.
So,
Well, for the record, I'm going to just state that the letter from the Mass Department of Public Health says that Massachusetts through week 39, which is, I guess, current, there have been 13 West Nile virus human cases in Barnstable, Bristol, Essex, Hampton, Middlesex, Norfolk, and Suffolk counties, and 4 triple E cases. So it's out there. Pay attention.
one of the big locations is Rochester. So,
That was last week, Rochester.
yeah, it's right next door.
Yeah.
I mean, we
If
don't.
they're Rochester, they're over here too.
Yep. New Bedford's pretty high too. So.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to place on file?
Motion to place on file.
Second motion, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, motion carries. Next up, we have appointments of Sharon Associates Incorporated. It's a public hearing for 31 Darling Street septic system design, requesting a variance to the abutting property less than 10 feet to 6 feet. The variance for leaching field will be less than 20 feet from crawl space to 6 feet. We're primarily here for the property line variance. I take it the abutter notification has been submitted.
Yep.
Mr. Gasek is here, Mr. Chairman, we notified, can you take a look at it? Sure. This is your property on the side over here.
Yep.
And we just came in and did our protest in here. As you know, they've got all this storage and trailer back in here, we couldn't do anything back in that section, and they're trying to sell the property, so we did a couple of quick tests, 1 and 2. One should be up, there was 1 and 2. So we put the leaching field in here. Normally this would be 10 feet off the line, we don't have enough. So we split the distance between the crawl space and the property line 6 feet on each side.
Okay.
So both of these require variances, but
Right.
ours requires notification.
Well, by law, it's supposed to be 10 feet. Why is that? Why is that law set at 10 feet?
It's set at 10 feet, basically because they don't want it right at the property line. If it's 5 feet or less, they require us to get a survey of property line.
The reason why they did that for leakage, if it goes off to the sides, breakage, that's the reason why they went 10 feet. Presumably they're gonna put a rubber barrier in there.
Yes.
So is there a detrimental side if it's only going to be 6 feet? Is this going to leach into the
It shouldn't, because they're gonna have a rubber barrier in there.
You're going to have a what?
A rubber barrier,
No.
meaning that they dig all the way down, put a rubber barrier all the way up to the top, so it won't leach out to the
How
sides.
far down?
The other thing
All the way down
too,
to
All the way down to the bottom of the
of the septic system.
septic system?
this is one, you know, these things are put into place to try to take account of the worst soil conditions. And this is some of the best soil conditions I've found in Acushnet. I told Joe, we were out there, we had sand and gravel, basically, we need sand and seed and earth, so forth. And that's unusual. Normally, Acushnet is more glacial till.
Downey Street is not too bad.
Well, as it is here, I mean, this is a place where water goes down vertically, it's not going to be pushing sideways.
Okay, so the chances of this leaching into their crawl space.
How wide is that rubber barrier?
It's just, that's 40 mils.
It's
It's a heavy
pretty-
plastic.
probably maybe as thick as this here.
Yeah,
It's pretty tough
rigid.
stuff.
The water's not going to go through it.
So this is going to be flat or is this going to be a hill?
No, it's flat, basically. Yeah, so we have, let's see, I'll put it to a 50.2
So it's one of
elevation.
the newer,
Yeah, we're at 50.6.
it's gonna be one of the newer ones?
Well, let me ask you this, why wouldn't you be putting it back here? Isn't there enough room back here?
You can't,
This is a temporary storage shed, that they're really
it's filled. This thing is filled with crap, to say that there's some apparently is from loading that thing up. When they're trying to sell the property, you can't wait for you to get his stuff out of there.
Okay.
And what is this? Is this storage also?
No, that's a trailer that they have there. In fact,
And back in here, no, not enough to,
well, again, you can't get access to it unless you put the tank in last and back your way out. But it's typically the tank will go in and then you pipe into the leaching field.
okay.
I don't think there'd be a problem with that, you, David?
Do you know how far the house is from the property line?
No, it's just
It's
22 feet.
Mine is 10. On the other
No,
side.
the other house, the case.
Mine's 10 feet.
Yeah, the fence is right spot on, because we had the property surveyed, and I think they did too. And the fence is spot on. So it's.
I guess my only concern is,
Is leakage.
yeah, is it gonna leak? I mean, this is,
Well, David's an engineer also. So,
Okay.
I mean, if he thinks it's gonna be safe, I think it's gonna be safe. I have no
that's
problem.
my only concern. I mean, if there's no other place to put it, I was thinking, I saved the storage shed, which I thought was a temporary shed, which would come down, then you'd have more room back there, but apparently he doesn't want to remove the shed.
It's a cover, so it is a temporary building, but it's filled. It's just the water and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know what they could do to sell a house.
Yeah,
Your
your property's on this side.
My property's right there, yeah.
Do you think that house is 10 feet off it? The foundation from that fence?
From this side, I don't know, we didn't take any shots on it, we couldn't see it because of the
Get the
fence.
plan. What's the address, what's your address? 29 Davin.
Sure.
I
I was gonna say, one of the things we had was we put in that barrier, but it's primarily to protect the crawl space.
Yeah.
Right.
But we could run it at 360 degrees, and
Yeah.
have like three sides.
If we're less than 20 on the other side, we have to.
Should be, right?
But the soil conditions, Rick says, look, really as good as you get. Everything goes perfectly down, not horizontal, I don't think anything.
Well,
We
it's a
don't
field
have any
system.
puddles in the yard.
Right.
We don't have,
Everybody wishes
So
they
the
had.
rain-
If the water comes up and it don't go down with the hydraulics, it's a
Yeah.
field system.
The rain
Yeah,
never
there's
settles.
dimension there.
Puddles really
Right.
don't settle in the yard.
Unless you get a ruler.
You got a scale rule? She gets.
Do you have a full basement?
No,
No.
crawl space.
Also, so same as this one?
Same as, yeah,
They're all built the same.
yeah.
Some of them have basements. Like directly across the street from 33,
Yeah.
they have a basement.
One of those.
Across the street from our house, they have a basement.
Do you know if they have any water problems in this year?
Well, that's the other thing, is
How many
I don't,
Yeah,
well,
15.
Larry and Cindy, they used to.
You could
They
15
had-
feet on the other side.
15 feet?
Yeah, so 15 and the 6 would be 21.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
20 is required.
That's good,
I
20 is
think
what
he's
I
all
know.
right.
Okay, so we're good there.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know about their crawl space, I mean, it's,
Well, we
know they have-
requested that they put the crawl space elevation so that we know that the poly barrier is below the crawl space.
okay,
That's
so,
the whole goal, is to make sure that the barrier stops entering collateral. Although it would have to be in failure for the collaterally. And
Okay.
To
it's-
bring out the sides.
Yeah, and it's,
I mean, we can insist that they go all the way around with that barrier.
I
That's no big
would, I
deal.
would be comfortable with that.
Well, if they're comfortable with that, we can be comfortable too.
I don't have a problem if you want to make that a condition, we'll revise the plan and send it to you.
yeah, that's not a big deal.
not a big deal?
No.
Yeah.
If that's gonna make you people happy, we're here to make somebody happy.
Yeah, we, since they're moving away, I mean,
Plus, this type of system is newer. It's
Yeah.
better than the old school pipe and stone.
so you're not gonna have
I was gonna mention
PVC
that.
pipe sticking up?
No, this is, we're using the Elgin GSFs in this. So the Elgin system cleans up the liquid about 90% better than what a stone and pipe field, leaching field would do. So you've got a stone and pipe, which is a standard system,
Yeah.
and your solids going into the ground underneath the system, like one of the stones.
Right.
Typically be about 300 milligrams per field solids. It'd be milky looking if you have glass on it. With these systems, because of the way they're made, we move 90% of that to 10 to 30 milligrams per liter, so it's a little bit cleaner because of the glass. So the advantage on these is that it doesn't tend to plug up the soil over a period of time, because you don't have those little tiny particles left in the liquid. Right, there's 90% of them removed and digested in the system.
Okay.
And so the chances of this failing, I usually say like a system like yours, good for 25 years with normal use. These systems with 90% of the solid you remove should be good for 10 times that period. But
Wow.
I'd say it's a lifetime habit.
It will be a vent though. We require it.
Yes.
We have a requirement because we want airflow going through the system. It helps breathe.
But it has a chocolate filter.
It does have a charcoal filter.
Avoid any potential odors, which you shouldn't be getting any. The odor, for the
So-
most part,
Where is that pipe gonna be? Where is that pipe
Gonna
gonna
be,
be?
6 feet off the fence.
right there.
6 feet off the fence?
Yeah.
most of the airflow is from the lower vent, out the vent through the house. So if there's any odor, it's the same thing with your vent, you know, it's up high.
If you're not happy with that, can we move that over to the middle?
We could.
Why don't we move it to the middle, make you happy?
10 feet off the line?
But the only problem with that is it's going to prevent them getting in and out of here if they have to try to get back in
Oh,
the vehicle.
yeah, because they
You don't want them running over that system anyhow.
Well, it's probably true.
they're gonna have to, because
That's
they're gonna
actually
have to get their trailer out.
It's-
Well, I'm hoping they're going to get it out before they put this in.
When are you proposing to do this?
That's up to them.
And then-
What their date is as far as.
Well-
the sale.
From what she's mentioned to me, you know, off the record, was when they sell the house. So,
So they're not going to put the system in until they sell the house.
that's my understanding.
Well, that's not
Well, he's
unusual.
gotta
So we were
revise
kind
the
of-
system
So we
anyhow.
were kind of
It's gotta
surprised
come
to see
back
it so early.
to approve of it,
Mhm.
and then,
I think the vent being in the middle is a good spot because
We'll move that and we'll put
Yeah,
a 360 on the.
because it will actually
Plastic.
stop vehicular traffic from.
Yeah, that's probably,
I like that.
I don't think I want trucks
Right.
coming back here to haul these things out of here after.
No.
you're gonna spend a bunch of money on a system,
They have
they
room,
put trucks in there, they're gonna,
you
All right,
know,
so we're in agreement, they put the vent pipe right in the middle?
He's got a big
They got all that
truck
stuff
he
out.
let
puts-
them go in between it.
puts it
I
in
would,
be- he
to
puts
be
it
frank
in
with you, if that
between.
was mine, I was buying that, I'd say either move that stuff out now, I'm not gonna buy that piece of property, because I'm not gonna have you running over my system. That's me.
Yeah.
That would be him, David, Joe, we'd all agree that we don't want nobody running over it. You know?
What condition are these sheds in?
I would just say they're full.
And if they move a full
I
shed,
would definitely agree.
it'd be a lot bigger.
But you have this here as a slab, this is now a building.
No, yeah, there's a house there, but it's slab underneath it, as opposed to the crawl space.
Oh, I see what
The
you're
crawl
saying,
space goes
okay.
to there, into here, and then that room they have in the back is on a slab.
So
This
there's
is
no
on a
crawl
slab.
space under this one. It was a garage, so,
Right.
So that's what you have as a slab.
yeah. All right, so we're in agreement, then we're gonna
Okay.
center that pipe, and-
Well, we're gonna make a motion to approve with those conditions.
okay.
Okay.
So I will accept a motion to approve the variances as read with the condition that a poly barrier is placed on 3 sides instead of 2 as shown, and the vent is moved 10 feet from the lot line, and that a revised plan will be submitted reflecting those changes.
I second that.
I'll accept that motion.
Let me ask
You read it out, so I might as well just.
Okay,
so
then
we're
I
gonna
make
have
that
to pump
motion,
this
you
out?
second it?
You
No,
make the
okay.
motion, and I accept it.
The new ones don't have to
The
get
new ones
pumped
don't
out?
get pumped out?
Well, they would have, yeah, they'd have to periodically maintain it, there's a maintenance schedule.
You know, a septic system is as good as you take care of
They
it.
got 6 inches of sludge on the top of it.
Well, I just put in a new pump, so I know.
Kind of pump.
You mean to make?
E1?
No.
No,
yes.
that's one, well, you had to put a pump in a pump chamber for the
Yep.
septic system?
From the septic system,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you got a raised system.
Which was close to
Yes.
$2,000 for the pump.
How old was the
Really?
pump?
The pump was 20 years old.
Oh, that's why I go
Yeah,
buy
you
it
did a lot of
today.
years out of it.
That's why-
Just the replacement's gonna cost you probably $2,000.
So I guess I'm just wondering, if they have to pump this out, then the pipe's in the middle, how are they gonna get back there to pump that out? Just run the, like they do the regular now. Okay,
Oh,
well,
the-
answer my own
They just
question.
have to pull that hose in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the truck
okay.
would not drive over the
Yeah, no,
lawn.
that's not an issue
They'll
then.
drag the hose.
Those
and
guys
get
will
the
drag the hose, they have probably 200 feet of hose on the truck.
Yeah.
Truck yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a girl that did ours the last time, she was good. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
So we're good, we got everything?
As long
Yeah,
as you
most-
people are happy,
I'm happy.
we're happy.
So we have motion on the floor, seconded, all in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor? Yep.
Motion carries.
Okay, great.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay.
Thanks for showing concern.
Have a great night. Thank you.
You too. Time to go eat.
Okay. Go on.
Good night. I'm gonna change the name and get the plans back.
Thanks for coming in, Rick.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rick. Have a good night.
All right.
They're all good nights.
Good.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you.
Derek Macedo.
He is.
That's Derek Macedo. Next up, K-State Public Health Training Hub.
Gentlemen?
I'm gonna hold tight. Bob was asking just fresher on,
Sure.
but I will, I'll make a motion that we halt the meeting for a moment. We're back live. We're gonna take a break as somebody walked into the office. So next on our agenda is Bay State Public Health Training Hub, Derek Macedo. This is regarding granting authority for Bay State Training Hub inspectors to perform training and inspections within the town of Acushnet. So, you want to start, Joe, or do you want to?
Yeah, so to quickly say this, we've talked to Derek before. We're part of a Public Health Excellence Grant, which was granted by the Department of Public Health in order for us to operate in a shared service arrangement with New Bedford, Acushnet, and Fairhaven. Currently, we have a shared nurse that actually, as of today, just did a flu clinic over at the Council on Aging. She's did some diabetes work training that has a lot to do with taking care of yourself, and even leading up to having a YMCA membership for I think 6 months after it's done. anyways, this has worked out really well in regards to us being able to, share the resources throughout the different communities. Certainly New Bedford's got a little bit more going for it than we do because of the size of the community, so they have a lot of different people that they've actually helped. A couple of days ago, we had a car seat check over at the Ford Middle School. Some of the nurses and staff from New Bedford was here doing that. Some of our staff, the EMS, Ed Karen was over there helping out. Awesome. So that being said, this Public Health Excellence Grant works in two different ways. It's this where it's shared services, and there's several all the communities for the most part in Massachusetts are doing the same thing. But it's also a second part of that has to do with training. So in this, ever since COVID, it was determined that there was deficiencies in the health departments throughout the 351 communities, and the state Department of Public Health wanted to bolster that and come up with some sort of way to help all the communities to perform the standards that we're required. And as you guys know, there's a tremendous amount of things that we're supposed to be involved in, but are doing it all exactly the same way throughout the entire state. So they set up, I believe there's 7 training hubs throughout Massachusetts. Each one of these hubs have a certain amount of communities, upwards of 30 plus communities, and each one of these hubs are training those communities to do the food codes, the housing codes, the Title V inspections, all of the different things exactly the same way, so everybody that's getting trained is getting trained the same way. That being said, that money is given to us. It's under a grant. It's from the state. It's not anything that we're paying for individually from the town.
How long is the grant good for?
Right at the moment, 10 years, I believe is the number.
We're locked in till 2027 with 2 3-year extensions following that.
So, that being said, we're just soaking up all that the state's given to us in regards to the entire, staff of all the different health departments learning all over again. I've said it to you guys, I'll say it again, it's like going back to college. They've got us doing online training, they've got us classroom training, they've got us in-field training, all of the new health agents, all of the, older health agents that have been around, we're all going back to school. And Derek's the lead trainer in our hub. There's 2 other trainers that operate underneath him. And what Derek is coming to you tonight to talk about is to be able to utilize, Acushnet as he's doing with Fairhaven, as he's doing with New Bedford, the 3 communities to be a area that the new health agents, the old health agents, and the people that are coming in can utilize as a place to train. Obviously using the communities to train, that's where we operate, that's where we work. So based on our, based on what's available throughout the different communities at the time that there's somebody that needs to be trained after they've gone through whatever field training they have to do, or whatever's available in any of the communities, Derek, I think, or his staff looks to see if there's, where they can go throughout the 3 communities to be able to, train a particular person. Not take away from anything that I do from a health agent standpoint. Certainly work in conjunction with me, but at the same time, in the event that I happen not to be here, and they have a bottom inspection to do, maybe that's what they do. Or if I'm not here and I have a restaurant that needs to be inspected, they go there. I don't want to take all of it away, but it's a training exercise. Those reports or those inspections, depending upon how you guys feel about that, can be either utilized as the actual inspection or presented. I think they would all be presented to me and to you on what's going on, and then from that standpoint, utilize it however we see it, or however you see it. So with that, I hope I didn't take too much away from Derek.
No, you did a great job setting it up. Added to piggyback a little bit, so the more I can do in the trainees community is what I will do. So I did a lot of training with the new inspector that we have in Swansea. He has a pretty big food bank, so we were able to do all of his food in Swansea. Didn't need to move communities. Where we're talking is like a situation like if Joe needs to do housing, the housing complaints and the minimum housing population in Cushing is very small. It would take forever to get Joe where he needed to be. But in New Bedford, they have the population, they have the housing bank there. So we could do it there. That's kind of the give and take that I was coming to look for you guys for. Again, we won't do anything without Joe knowing about it. So if I have a trainee and I think that Acushnet has a good opportunity, I'm not just coming into Acushnet. That's not happening. I would talk to Joe, hey Joe, I got this opportunity, what do you have available for me? And then, let's say it's a restaurant. Let's say I'm trying to get a restaurant done, Joe has one we can do. If Joe would like to tag along, tag along. If you're too busy, as long as I have your permission, I'll go. And to his point, now I've done the inspection, I need that for my trainee. We need to go over the paperwork. If Joe would like to use that, totally up to him. If he doesn't want to use it, again, totally up to him. I need it for the training purposes, but now it's up to you if you want to use it or not. So that's the give and take to it, is we can come in, but it's up to you how official you would like that to be. And then conversely, if Joe needs something, he can call me and I will gladly come back him up. If he, has an inspection that he just wants a second set of eyes on, I'll gladly come into town, give him a hand. It has nothing to do with training. As long as Joe's calling me and needs some help, I can come into town, give him a hand. But really, it's more about, do you have a training opportunity? May we go to this location? If it's yes, then we go.
So, would it, I know obviously not housing in Acushnet, but would it be a situation where Joe tells you, well, I got 2 perk tests scheduled the next 2 weeks, and I have 2 Title V inspections the next 2 weeks, and he offers you to tag along and you bring whoever you want? What my concern would be, not that you have all the qualifications, I'm sure. My concern would be the public at large seeing you instead of Joe and saying, who is this guy? He's bringing 3 people with him, and what the hell's going on in my property? And
That's why he would know about it ahead of time. So when those questions do come, there's no, I don't know. I don't know who these people are.
Joe,
There's a clear answer as to, this is who these people are, this is why they were there. So that's why I would never come into town without him knowing about it.
People always ask these questions, who's those other 2 guys over there?
Absolutely.
We know Joe, he's been in town for a while, but who the hell's those 2 guys over there?
And if I were them, I understand the question, and if I were you, I would want an answer as to, yeah, who are these guys?
Because I would ask that question.
100%. As long as we have the communication, I can get you an answer as to who are these people, I feel like we're kind of covered at that point.
so what exactly, what types of training would you be looking to do in our town?
Right now, all we're doing is housing and food right now.
Okay.
So in the short term, maybe a food here and there, but realistically, I have plenty of food. So in the short term, very little. It would mostly be, do you need me for something? When the Title V part of the program ramps up is when I'm thinking Acushnet is when I'm mostly going to be needed. And at that point, it would kind of be as I learn, I'll let you guys know. This is, because I really can't answer on that end, what am I going to be looking for yet? I don't know. The more I know, hey, we're going to be looking for bottom holes, maybe a final, or a perk test and a bottom. I don't know yet. As I know, I'll ask.
Has these people that's going to go into the schooling, we could call it, Have they done soils before? Have they been certified as a soil evaluator?
It's gonna be, for them to finish, it's gonna be part of it. They're gonna have to
Who
have
picks up
done
the
that.
tab for that?
The state?
The state
Well, I mean,
The grant will pick up the tab for them?
Well,
There's no cost to the town to bring any of these folks in for training.
I think we're on, like, who's gonna pay for the soil evaluation? That's not up to me. I would assume whatever city and town that person's gonna go work for will pay for their soil evaluation.
But that's not cheap no more.
I would assume, yeah, whatever city and town
So
they're gonna work for is gonna pay for that.
some of the people that you train, some are health agents now and some aren't, or they're being trained to be health agents?
Correct. I have a mix right now, so, like, to Joe's point, it's everyone that's going through it, so I have some people that are 20, 25 years in, that it's, for them, it's more just a refresher, oh, I didn't realize that. And then we have, so my buddy out in Swansea, brand new, he's been doing it less than 6 months. So it varies. I spend a lot more time with the new people than the guys that have been doing it for a while.
But there's a lot of people out there that's done it, that's out there, that's been, like Joe, but they don't pass the test. Engineers, I gave tests 4 times to engineers that hasn't passed. And it's a tough test to take, doing soils, because I used to do that for USDA for maybe 15 years. So it's a tough test.
Soil evaluation's not gonna be part of it, because New EPAC has that,
Well, I
and
mean,
New
if they're gonna,
EPAC's
if
not
they're
gonna
gonna do
give
it,
that
if they're
up.
gonna do bonds or witness a perk test, they gotta know about soils also. I mean, Joe goes out there, he knows about soils.
Right, so it's to be assumed that by the time that they're in our program, they've done that.
Okay.
Again, I'm assuming that that's gonna be part of the program and that
Just
they've
wanna
done
make
that.
sure that it doesn't rely upon later on, they say, well, what did that guy know about soils? Is he a soil evaluator, is he been certified?
Well, that's what I'm gonna be, I'm the trainer, I'm gonna take care, the person that's training, I can't worry if they're an older person or a newer person. It's, as long as you guys are comfortable, it's what I say, and if you're not, then it's what he says. Again, my paperwork doesn't need to be the end-all be-all. If you're not comfortable with it, all Joe has to do is just tag along and Joe can do his own. And I can do mine on the side. So it can work that way if you're not 100% comfortable with it.
I think from my perspective, and I'm only one board member, I think that how I would like to see it work is that if Joe does a restaurant, you guys get together on, we're gonna go do a couple of restaurant inspections. Joe would introduce you to the managers of the restaurant that he would normally deal with, so they know who you are. So that, and the next time if he says 6 months down the road, hey, I got a couple there due, you wanna go do them, they know who you are. Housing, that's kind of a, you can't really plan for it, but I would like him to be there the first time for anything. I don't have any issues with the tag-alongs or how many people you wanna bring, but as far as like bottom holes.
Ideally, I don't wanna
Title
bring more
V.
than one person. Ideally, I don't wanna bring 3 or 4 people
Okay.
on an inspection. Ideally, especially once we're hitting field work, it's more one-on-one, like even doing food, it's one-on-one. I highly doubt it would be more than a person.
Okay.
Highly
So,
doubt.
like bottom holes, perk tests, Title V inspections. I'm not at the level to relinquish Joe not being there in some capacity.
That's fine.
So, but I have no problem with the training per se, going on side by side.
Somebody's gotta learn.
Yes, no, the training's great. I like the idea. I don't know, like, if I'm on board of health, member, I answer to constituents that, and I don't, somebody, I'm 100% comfortable with Joe making sure that septics are put in right, the septics are inspected right, he knows the contractors, he knows their little nuances, if you will, personalities and whatnot, and I'm not, unless he was leaving, I'm not ready to move on from that, so.
And let's say a couple of years from now, we've done a few of these and your
Yep.
comfort level changes, we
Correct,
can change that.
correct,
That 100% fine with that.
okay.
I want you guys to be as comfortable with this process as possible. And again, we're not at that Title V level anyway, so I would be able to give you guys much more detail as it got closer. Like, you want to talk about the food program, I can give you all the details, because we're doing it right now. The Title V is still coming, they're still trying to figure out,
Sure.
Are you
How they
guys
wanna
still
do it.
doing the federal inspections like?
we're doing risk-based inspections, which is what the FDA recommends.
Because that's how I learned to do mine. Before we had health agents, we had to go out and do it ourselves. And I work all during the day, and I used to go at night, and I used to catch a lot of people with that.
Oh, when you go at night, you'll catch plenty,
Oh, yeah.
because they're not expecting that.
But you gotta work with the people also, and you gotta realize if you find a lettuce on the floor and it's green, well, things drop. They can't be with a broom behind them every 5 minutes, but if I found a piece of lettuce that was old and dilapidated, I'd write them up,
And that's where I have to
because that's not
change,
being cleaned.
change my training a little bit, because I don't have to explain that to someone like Joe, but I have a new inspector, we may have to go over something like that, where they may say, oh, look, that's filthy. Let's talk about that for a minute, where he's been doing this for 20 years, he sees that, I know what he's thinking, I don't have to worry about that, so.
I've been out there for 38.
Right. So we just, I can adjust the training depending on.
I trust Joe. I
Right.
trust Joe out there, so I mean, there's no problem. I trust him 150% on septics, because that's what that man used to do years ago. So he knows his stuff.
So maybe I'll train the trainer, it sounds like.
Train the trainer who's
Yeah,
training the
it sounds
trainer.
pretty good.
It's all about
I'm all
training,
for it.
it's also about training the restaurant employees that are there when you're there,
100%.
so they understand. It's all about education.
Yeah.
And then once they go, oh, I never do that, you know.
We hear that all the time.
Sure.
I didn't know that, I
Right,
didn't.
they weren't
Maybe they
trained,
didn't.
they didn't have time to train them, they were thrown into the job, and, you know,
Absolutely.
it's not easy for.
I took one during a couple of inspections with me. She says, "You go through all that?" I says, "Yeah." Don't I wonder? I check dates, I check everything when I go on an inspection. That's part of my job.
As we
It was,
should.
it was part of my job. That's why we got Joe.
Well, I'm perfectly fine with that. I agree with that 100%.
So what do you need from us this evening, any formal vote of any kind, or is it just
I think
an
it should be a
understanding?
formal vote to authorize the ability for the Bay State Training Hub to utilize Acushnet as a training location.
Okay,
With
You know,
permission of your health agent. I would even add that if
right.
if you want to add that level in, you could add that into saying,
I think what I'd like to add too is that when we get to that, as we grow and the relationship grows and you do substitute for Joe for, you know, a housing inspection or a restaurant, that I be notified, or whoever's the chairman be notified, because if I get that call from, I mean, a small community, everybody knows somebody from a restaurant owners, hey, I got some strange guys coming in my restaurant. I don't appreciate it, you know. I'm like, well, let me explain what it's about, you
Right.
know. So then I would know ahead of time, you know, if you were entering a certain restaurant down the street, I'm expecting that call, or maybe not. But if I do get the call, I know how to explain it.
Just to make a note about it, I mean, the reality behind this is, you know, it's a training exercise, but, you know, from what I know and what I do on a daily basis, I mean, I really have, if there's something that's significantly out of compliance, that's something that I have to be involved in, because the trainers and the trainer is gonna go wet.
And you get
And
followed.
I'm gonna want to have to, so when
Okay.
it comes to that housing inspection, or maybe that really bad restaurant inspection, I mean, it has to include me, because other than that, you know, how am I going to, and, you know, I have to bring that to you, you know, at the end of the day, where the authority is in
Well, if
order
we get a
to.
phone call and say, hey,
Correct.
we had two guys in here, or two ladies in here doing an inspection, I don't know nothing about it.
I think in my mind, I would either be there to begin with, and realistically, I've already had these conversations with a lot of the owners, because really, as we approved, is simply, there's still a health agent or sanitarian that's supposed to be part-time, that's gonna get hired as part of the Public Health Excellence Grant, that's gonna get shared between the three communities. And that's still in the well, that's more so now in the process, the process of getting hired. They're going through New Bedford, getting that person hired to actually ultimately share. But even in that case, we have to, I have to be involved in all of that, because I don't see the shared service health agent following up on any of the regulatory part of it. You know, yes, this is X, Y, and Z, but it's still gonna all come back to me, and then it's gotta, and then, you know, come back to me
Then
in
it'll fall on
essentially
our
through you.
Yeah.
You've authorized them to be here to train, but not necessarily, you know, say, oh, well, you're the health agent, and you're gonna be able to do it.
They're not the ones that make the decision.
Right.
They're
They're
here to
gonna,
learn.
right, and then as, like, to Dave's point, you know, we get down the road, and it's ramped up, and you understand it, and, yeah, if the community becomes aware of what's going on and who these people are, then it's just, it's that extra level of protection. It's an extra level even to me, where, you know, I try to take, you know, I be very careful about when I take vacations and when I take time off, to make sure that it doesn't get in the way of
Or to go
anything. It
fishing,
doesn't.
right? Or to go fishing.
Yeah, it usually, like, you know, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because I've already made sure that everything's fine. But it'll help. It'll
But one
give you.
stipulation, if Joe's going fishing, you better call me.
Sounds good.
Well, I better call you, or he's not
No,
gonna
you're
call you.
gonna call me, if
No.
you're going, you don't have a boat, I don't think.
No, I do not.
So if you go fishing, we better be informed
All
of
right,
this.
just stop,
So we
because
can
now I
go
gotta call
fishing
him too, right? So
No,
now
you
we're
have
all
to call
going
him.
fishing. Okay.
It's all good, it's all going.
I'm only joking around.
It's all going in
And
good.
to his point, if I'm, let's say, I come in, Joe's not there, I go to a restaurant with a trainee, and it's going south quickly, like, you know when things are just going south. At that point, I'm probably just gonna stop the inspection, call Joe, be like, yeah, this didn't work for me.
Okay.
We need to go in there together, you
Okay.
and I, not me and a trainee. So I would never, oh, we need to shut this place down. All right, trainee, let's learn how to shut a place down. Absolutely not. If we're at that level, hey, Joe, can you come down here? If you can't, all right, let's do this tomorrow, but
Because he's
At that point-
gonna listen to me, because he's say, who the hell
Well-
gave them permission to close it? And you're our health agent here, you know?
It's never gonna
Ultimately,
get-
he's the one that's gonna answer
He's
as
getting
the
answer.
agent to the Board of Selectmen.
And Joe knows that,
100%.
and Joe knows I don't hold too much tongue back. Do I, Joe?
All right,
But that's me.
Yep, it's,
so I'll make a motion that we,
You think we should have Tom making this major decision, like?
normally 99 out of 100 times I'd say yes, but Tom conveyed to Joe that he is okay
He
with
was
it.
okay with it?
With the 2 members.
Well, I didn't know, so.
No,
because he was here at the last.
He
You're
told
gonna
me
have
that
to
he had a
tell me if he
conversation with him,
thinks
yes.
it's okay. I have no problem with it.
Otherwise, I would never make the call.
Well, I didn't know that he had talked.
It was a last minute
to
thing of
Tom.
him not being able to make it. He told Joe.
Yeah.
Usually on something
found out
like
this afternoon
a
that,
decision
yeah.
like this, we like a 3-board member to either nay or yea, you
If, for
know?
instance, we have a policy after this, we're gonna table it because Tommy has input.
Yeah, so no, Tom, he was planning on being here, he had a hiccup, he called me at noon time, and, you know, he said
Okay, I'll
that.
make the motion to accept them as party.
Deputize the, Mr. Macedo and his trainees.
Which is the Bay State.
training hub.
Okay, so we're gonna deputize the Bay State Public Training Hub to work in the town of Acushnet under training, for training purposes. Does that make sense?
Yep. Sounds good.
That's the motion I'll make,
Under Joe?
under Joe's complete authority. yes.
Okay. Make sure we put that
You
with
want a second?
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 2-1.
Thank you very much, everyone. Joe.
All right, thanks for your
Have a
time.
great night, thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone. No, see you
I
tomorrow.
look forward to getting trained.
Look forward to training with you.
Well,
Thank you, have a good night.
Take care.
You too, Derek. Next, we have Board Health Policy Installation Timeline for Septic Systems. We are going to table this as we're missing one member. Is there a motion to table to the next meeting?
Motion.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries. Next bullet item, mosquitoes, high alert. Limit outdoor activity 15 minutes before dusk and dawn.
I think Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
we
we-
covered that pretty
we already-
much.
At the-
Joe covered that in the
You
beginning.
get your sign up there.
Left it up the whole time.
All right.
You gonna make a date up for next time?
We got some minutes to approve in the meantime.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Yeah.
Maybe you wanna,
Huh?
do you wanna do that? Do you wanna do anything?
Oh, yeah, well, some, these are people meeting nights, so are they all?
All.
Okay, so, I'll make a motion to table the minutes until we have a full board. I get a second.
Second, but I can just say half of the minutes.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, table.
Well, I was there, I was at the meeting.
I know, it's just.
Don't knock me now. That's
Right.
100% at the meeting.
One of them, you were there for 2 minutes, I think.
I still attended, right?
All right, next meeting date, what do you
You
think?
want this?
And the 12th is the day after Columbus Day, so I mean, where are we at now? I mean, we could do the 5th.
All right, November 5th. Sounds good. So our next meeting will be Tuesday, November 5th. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries, we are now adjourned.